How you doing, guys? It's LSP. Just going to go over Bitcoin quickly. Just made a note in the room that I've seen something that I'm finding quite interesting. And as always, I am bullish Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm just looking for spots to accumulate more. And this isn't trade advice, as I keep saying. So just really important. Do your own research. Do your own analysis. Obviously, for me, I like to share my thoughts, my ideas, but that's exactly what they are: thoughts and ideas. So the where we effectively ended up yesterday, where we was kind of here, and I had this 51 in mind, or 52 in mind. Sorry, we drove down there, and I did say, and it's a little bit tricky for you guys, I know, because when I post something, or I post some analysis, or I post some thoughts, or somebody else posts some thoughts, it gets lost in translation, obviously, or lost in the chat, should I say. So as it's going up, the chat's pretty active, it just disappears. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and bump the links, or bump the comments that I've made every now and then, just to make sure that they still stay as recent as I can. And then hopefully at some point, one of the moderators will start to pin them. But we'll see how that goes. So with that said, I made a mention that if you had time over the next sort of couple of hours, and this was when I actually made the post, to keep an eye on Bitcoin, for the next couple of hours, the next couple of candles, and you should start to see acceleration as it's running into this liquidity area down here, and obviously down to the 52 area. Now, if anybody was watching this, obviously what I was trying to get across is I wanted you to because I'm trying to kind of teach some of the things that I do through these quick 5-minute videos of analysis that I do. And one of those things is, as you approach liquidity pools, you'll generally tend to find price accelerates very, very quickly as it's reaching for liquidity. And that's just something just to have in the back of your mind. I've been teaching traders for a very long time as well, and I've been coaching for years. So just bear that in mind. In terms of, I'm throwing little nuggets in there, and then hopefully you'll start to learn my own personal process and how I look at the markets. And then you guys can effectively learn from that. So again, acceleration, very important, and something that you need to be mindful of. So right now, obviously, I made another post as well, and I was saying down here at the 50 level, and price has obviously gone there. But what's interesting, and I'll just quickly show you the daily, and sorry for rambling, but I'll just quickly show you the daily. That's pretty much all we need. So you'll notice price came up, responded nicely, had a lot of area of liquidity up here, and you can see what's happening. Price is going up, it's picking up sell liquidity, and it's dealing that off to the downside. And sorry guys, and as it's doing this, the pressure's to the downside. Doesn't mean that the overall market condition for Bitcoin is bearish. That's not what I'm saying, but it's pushing lower. And my belief is that Bitcoin is moving lower to accumulate more, so it can then go for the next leg up, but it needs to rest, it needs to breathe. If we go over to the monthly chart, as I keep saying, this is just an explosion to the upside. This is going to take time to deal off now. Maybe months, maybe a couple of months, maybe 3-6 months, whatever, we don't know, but this is going to take some time. We need to go sideways for a little bit while all of this is dealt off, and the facilitation of trade both sides of the market is done. It evens itself out, and then off it goes for the next leg. So going back to the daily, we've come down here. Now, what's interesting about this is if you look at this, and I'm trying to think the best way to show you this. So this candle right here, all right, if we just make a note here, all right, of this area of liquidity down here, and it's actually, to be fair, it's actually here like this, okay. But I encompass these three candles because I don't want to go into it too much. I'm going to keep the video quite short. But we had a nice little pullback. What happened was we had that first initial pop, price goes sideways, and then it dips just here and picks up some buy liquidity. Okay, so it absorbs liquidity just here, and then it starts to run to the upside. Okay, and as it runs to the upside, this pause is again another accumulation. Another accumulation point. So as it starts to come back down here, you'll notice that it responded really nicely here, right? And obviously I'm doing my best to put all of this stuff on the chart way before it happens, because you're going to learn so much more that way. So we had a price response, and look at the actual price response. It goes down. It's not the line's got nothing to do with it, but obviously this is just I'm denoting the area. Price goes down, it hits it beautifully, and we get a nice reaction from that. And obviously the 50,000 mark is a psychological number as well. People are going to be watching that, so we get a nice price response from that. So if we just go back to the daily, all right, you can see price came down, responded nicely to this area of liquidity, but we've already picked up here. Yeah, so is it necessary for price to come down into this area down here, deeper into this area of liquidity, or this liquidity pool, and drive towards this liquidity down here? Yeah, I personally don't think it is. Yeah, because if it does come down here and it starts to run deeper into this, then we're going to have a problem. Yeah, with Bitcoin, because it's probably going to go sideways for a little while. Whereas that's not really what we want to see. We want to see kind of price working between the $50,000 and $60,000 range. Bouncing back and forth while it's dealing off liquidity. Sort of gearing itself up for that next pop. So, or that next bullish leg, which probably will see us into the sort of 70,000, 80,000 level, possibly to 100,000 on the next wave up. But for now, like I said, I need. Well, I say I need, but it'd be nice if Bitcoin just kind of stays here. And if Bitcoin does stay here and it gets back above this high that it created today, so let's say around about sort of 50, we'll call it 54,000. If we can get back above 54,000, and start to drive up or hold that level, then we're likely to start grinding higher a little bit. Yeah, but if it starts to push and keep pushing lower, we're going to go deeper into this liquidity pool, and we may need to reference this one down here because we've only had one pickup just here. And if that happens, obviously there's nothing we can do about it. It's just another spot, to accumulate more effectively. And that's it for Bitcoin. So I'm going to go over to Swissborg, and I just want to make a quick note of something that I was saying for the 4 hour. Okay, and I'll just remind everybody, I'm not really bothered about news or what people say or any announcements. For me, it's irrelevant. I'm just pure price, pure charts. That's all I look at, right? And you'll notice that as I continue to do these videos, that my analysis is pretty on point. Doesn't mean I'm right all the time, but my analysis is pretty on point. Which means if that's the case, and I'm not interested in the news, then how is the news effective? I know some people do use it. I know a trader who just trades the news only, trades 3 times a year, that's it. He just waits for the news events that make sense to him, and then off he goes, right? So it's definitely relevant, it's just not relevant to me. Yeah. So with that said, we had that pop, okay? And all I see here, you can see price had a really nice pop here. Now, if that one just there was really going for it, and it was important, and that was the one that was really going to start to push price higher, then it wouldn't have negated it completely and then ended up below that impulse just here. It wouldn't have come all the way down and took out this low if this was enough to get Swissborg moving again, right? So we've ended up all the way down here, obviously, for all the reasons we've discussed in previous videos. But I was saying I didn't want to see this candle negated. If this candle gets negated, there's no liquidity left here, which means it has to go down to 1, right? And the area of liquidity that I was making reference to is down here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this, I don't know, we'll make it red. Okay, nope, that's the outline. Let's make the, there we go. This is the area of liquidity down here. Yeah, and what I've just said is really important. If price starts to grind lower and this is negated and it starts to grind towards this low, it's just going to go straight for 1. This is the only liquidity that's left. Yeah, there's nothing left here. It's already dipped into it once, twice, 3 times, impulse, 4 times, move away, 5 times, straight through, runs deeper, takes out all the liquidity, deeper into this area of liquidity, had a nice price response today, and then a reversal, which is what it looks like it's probably going to end up doing. And if that happens, there's nothing left, so it's just going to go straight for this low and then fill in this imbalance, and then boom. Yeah, so I'm not bearish on Swissborg at all. Obviously I'm very bullish, in terms of the fundamentals of the company and the long-term vision, the company has. And I won't be letting go of my Swissborg tokens for many years. So this is just for me another accumulation point. Again, it's not trade advice. I'm just saying, for me, it's just another accumulation point. But we have to go with what we're seeing on the charts. So we really need to see some upside now. Yeah, we need to see price, sort of pushing a little bit higher. I'd feel more comfortable that price is going to start to go soon sooner rather than later, and that's all this is. I just want price to get to a point where I know, yep, we're probably going to see something in the next couple of months instead of, oh, this is going to take 6 months, yeah. But it doesn't change the dynamic of the actual bullish nature of Swissborg. So for me, I want to see price sort of stabilizing around about sort of 125 and up, and the most important area for me is 135. Yeah, $1.35. I want to see Swissborg at $1.35, and if it gets there and it holds, perfect. That's beautiful. But as always, guys, this is just my thoughts and my opinions, and anything can happen. We could just see an explosive move to the upside, and it just takes out all of this up here. So we just don't know. We just don't know. We just go with what we're seeing on the charts, and we try to analyze as best we can. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Sorry the video went on for a bit too long, and I'll catch up with you guys in the chat. Speak to you soon.